Hey everyone, this is Aaron Cole with Motor Authority, and I want to take a couple of minutes and talk you through the new 911 GT3. We're here live at the New York Auto Show, the 2017 New York Auto Show, and we're staring at this. This is the new GT3, and obviously this is a 2018 model. This is the new version, and it's basically a refresh of the old GT3, but the big news obviously is the inclusion of a manual transmission option this year. And last time around, Porsche kind of famously took away the manual in favor of the PDK, but they brought it back this year. And because we at Motor Authority always give a shift, we can't be more excited about the idea of bringing back a manual. So let me just walk you through some of the details on this car, and the styling, and obviously inside and out, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So make sure to leave a question in the comment, and I'll do my best. But if we can't answer, we'll always come back, and make sure to check out motorauthority.com for our stories on the GT3. We're going to have several, including kind of a deep dive on this. We talked with Andreas Bruniger, the head of the GT development program for Porsche. So make sure to check out that story when it goes up. Excuse me. So let's walk around the GT3. Obviously, this is the one of the most ultimate expressions of a Porsche 911. It's a 4-liter flat 4, naturally aspirated, and it's 500 horsepower. And so Porsche hasn't confirmed a GT2 yet. We kind of have a feeling that there will be a GT2, so most likely the GT2 is going to be the most powerful 911, but this is the most powerful naturally aspirated 911. It's 500 horsepower, 339 pound-feet of torque. It's, as you can see, it's got that massive rear wing. It actually creates 20% more downforce than the last model, but the coefficient of drag is unchanged. And one of the big things that Porsche did with this GT3 is the underbody vanes that control airflow underneath the car. And we were talking again with Andreas Bruniger, the guy who actually helped develop the car, and he kind of gave us the lowdown on what's going on underneath. And it's really nerdy. It's really exciting. And if you're a 911 fan, you're really going to get into it. So make sure to check out that story. Obviously, we've got the big air intakes. So 0 to 60 is 3.8 seconds. And that's with the PDK. The manual is a little bit slower. The manual is actually a 6-speed manual, not the 7-speed like the 911, and it's a 6-speed actually borrowed from the 911R, which you obviously will remember. The 911 car is kind of a legendary manual feeling Porsche, but the 6-speed borrows a lot. It's got a lot of the same gear ratios, but it's a completely different transmission. It doesn't share any part numbers, which is interesting. I'll take 2 as well. This particular example, we can take a look inside. This one is a PDK. So this isn't a manual per se, but you can see the seats, the insides. There's several different seat options. These are the carbon fiber trim sport buckets. So these are the lightweight versions. Let's see if we can zoom down. You can see adjustable controls there. So yeah, this is lightweight. GT3 I think is supposed to be kind of a hardcore version of a 911. It's probably not the case anymore. GT3 is actually for people who are big fans of the 911 now. And Andy Bruniger kind of told us, he said, we're not chasing lap times with this car. This car is supposed to be a compromise for kind of a pure 911 and a daily driver. We expect what he's taking. Yeah, you could probably, well, no, I don't think you're going to fit a family in there, but it's a good idea to take them on the road trip. But it is kind of a GT. That's kind of the right idea. And Bruniger said that this car isn't about lap times, and we can appreciate that. The GT3 RS, which will be PDK only, and I don't think Porsche's talked openly about it, but it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that there will be a GT3 RS. That's going to be the lap car. This is obviously one that you can track, and probably a lot of owners should and do track these cars. But this one is more of a Grand Tourer, and Pruniger told us as much. Let's take a step back here and look at it from the side. Dexter, good question. It's 500 horsepower, 339 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. And I think the manual might be a little bit slower, but I don't think Porsche specified what the 0 to 60 is. Let's talk about the pricing, because I think there's a lot of people asking questions about prices. Prices are $143,600 starting. That doesn't include delivery, so if I remember right, Porsche charges about $1,000 for delivery, so you're looking at $144,000. Too heavy looking in the front. That's a good question. That's a good point. I think Porsche has kind of stretched out its proportions just a little bit. Curtis is asking how much. That's $144,000 base price to start. We're looking at a car that's probably closer to $160,000, $170,000. They go on sale, I believe, later this year, but I could be wrong on that. And there's obviously upgraded brakes. We've got Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2. Thank you, Curtis. Yeah, it's $144,000. Kind of the 918 wheels. The Jordan is asking horsepower. It's 500 horsepower. Starting price, Scott. Yeah, you're pretty right on. It's about $144,000. I think it's $143 plus probably $1,000 destination. I think from Porsche. We'll take a look around back here. Kind of all the signature stuff is here. Like I said, there's a lot going on underneath. Dexter, that's a great question. Don't quote me, but I believe the weight is close to 3,300 pounds, but I could be wrong on that. Actually, no, it's 3,150 pounds. Opting for the manual transmission saves about 30 pounds, and the guy who developed the car told us that the manual and PDK versions are actually very different in suspension settings, and that's just because you can't pull out the PDK and drop in a manual. Changes a lot of things, ABS for one of them, but it also changes a lot of the programming. So they actually really worked hard to kind of give the manual its own character and own definition. And we talked with Joe Lawrence, the CEO or COO of Porsche North America, and they're really kind of guessing on how the two cars are going to sell against each other. Whether you opt for the PDK because it's the fastest way around the track, and that's tough to say as a car guy, but it's true. The automatic kind of does it better, or if you go with the manual because that's one thing that you just you want the analog feel. And Porsche's really kind of guessing on their North American buyers, and it's a tough question. I would ask you guys. I would say, what's your flavor? Would you pick this car in a manual, or would you pick this car with an automatic? I don't know that I have the answer, but it's a good question. So yeah, the two cars are actually pretty different. Take a look at the side here. Dexter always going with the manual. I can't argue with you. That's a great pick, and Porsche's manuals are phenomenal, and they feel good. Alan is asking any other differences between manual and PDK. No, the horsepower, the engine, the flat four, or I'm sorry, the Boxer 6 4-liter engine is same horsepower rating for both cars. Other than the suspension, kind of brake settings, which is a lot. There's not a lot that's different between the manual and the PDK. It's asking. Somebody's asking if it's still the 991 code. That's right. Technically, this is the 9912. This is the facelift version of it. The last was the 991. Travis, there you go. It's the 991.2. That's the technical code for it now. And we imagine that it's going to be around for the next couple of years. The interesting thing is, and again, we're speculating, we really don't know here, but the next 911, whatever that might be, it's Porsche's leaning hard on electrification. Also here at the show, there's the Panamera Turbo S E-Hybrid, and that's actually the range-topping sedan from Porsche now. And Porsche is pretty unafraid to say that the best Panamera that you can buy right now is a hybrid, and that's a tough thing to swallow for car guys, but it's entirely possible that the next 911 has some sort of electrification. So you might be looking at the last kind of true analog naturally aspirated Porsche, which is a difficult thing to talk about. Keep the questions coming, guys. We really appreciate you watching. Adam, tough to see it at the dealers. You might be right. This one might be really hard to come by, but I'm guessing if you've got the money, Porsche would love to sell you one of these cars. Again, we're going to have a deep dive on this car on motorauthority.com. We're going to have a lot to say about this car, especially with the guy who built it. He's actually a really interesting guy. And he's got a lot to say about it. He obviously worked a long time on these cars, and I asked him yesterday, I said, when did you start building a manual for this car? And he said, I've been doing it forever. So he's a car guy at heart, and he loves the manual. And, everybody that we've asked if you're going to go with a manual or automatic GT3, especially in this car is meant to be quick. It's meant to be the quickest way around the track. I've gotten a lot of hemming and hawing and people saying, and then everybody just kind of says, I want the manual. So I think that's why Porsche did it. I think Porsche knows that there's still a analog kind of classic feel to their cars, and buyers want it. And even though they want to go quick and they want to kind of learn the car and learn how to drive the car, they also understand that there's something to be said for driving it. There's something to be said about the experience of clicking through the gears by yourself. And PDK does a great job, and I really like PDK. But again, there's a reason why they came back with a manual this time around. So, once again, this is Aaron Cole from Motor Authority. We're here live at the 2017 Auto Show. Be sure to click through all of our videos and go to motorauthority.com, read the stories that we're writing from here. Leave any questions that you have in the comments, and we'll be happy to do what we can to answer. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching.